All right, well, let's get into the dailies that we have for you today. And joining me on the set this morning, the suave and dapper, no, not to for what say.
I don't know why you choose to do this, but
no, I'm going to do it every day. And I'll be doing all day, every day.
It's fine. We all know who's got the swag,
all
but it's okay.
Day, every day.
It's okay. Anyways, good morning to you, David.
Yeah, Charlie, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. It's good to be here.
Super.
I enjoy it.
All right, let's get right into the dailies.
All right, let's get into it. I'll start off with the daily graphic. Front page says stock exchange to support graphic listing. This is according to Abnamwa. Abnamwa is the managing director of the Ghana Stock Exchange. Accountability in education sector vital. This is according to experts. Stop attacks on courts. Supreme Court nominee. Dr. Ejenim, speaking at the ATU CEO's lecture series, says, let's teach students technical skills. Home sense.
Home sense. Okay.
If you answer, home sense. That's on the front page. Now, if you go to the back page of the daily graphic, WFP launches post-harvest mechanization training program. Now, this is the one that caught my attention.
Okay.
Potholes, overgrown medians, and Gulf roads, despite road repair app. You know, the ministry recently, the Ministry of Roads and Highways recently launched an app, basically to have citizens report the state of roads in their various localities. Well, the story says, despite this app, potholes and overgrown medians and Gulf roads. Maybe we can add non-functioning street lights and non-existent traffic lights as well.
So I think the road conversation needs to be had basically in a 360 fashion. So we're looking at the infrastructure that goes with the road, right? There's potholes, that's an issue. Overgrown medians is an issue. Like you mentioned, street lights is an issue. Traffic lights is an issue. But we also have
road markings.
The road markings, which recently I've noticed on the Achimota stretch, there's been some fresh markings being done there. But it's been gone, but the markings have been gone for like 2 years. No markings, you know, and it's very dangerous.
It's dangerous.
You
it
see,
really is.
Especially when you have dark streets and you have no markings. It's a recipe for disaster. You know, there's also the conversation around the crash barriers. Okay, and then the issue of who is culpable or responsible when somebody drives into a traffic light.
Okay.
Do you understand? In an accident. When somebody drives into a traffic light, somebody must pay for that. It must not come from government coffers. Clearly. Someone must pay for that.
Exactly.
Do you see? I don't understand the way we run our things, where an accident happens. Yes, immediately let's try and save lives. Yes, immediately let's try and deal with the situation there. But as you have all the details of the driver, the car number, and the car details, you must now go back to insurance and say, we need to pay for this.
Exactly. I mean, we see the MTTD officials at accident scenes still doing the measurements
on
and
the
all
road.
that. And still using chalk to write on the road. So what happens after all that investigation? Is anyone held culpable for the damage that has been caused? And will same person be charged for repair works? Or it's just left, okay, it's for the state, so let's just leave it like that?
But it's
I think that attitude needs to change.
This attitude of it's for the state. You see, Abba India, so it's like we
I
can
think that attitude
wrong.
Needs to change.
It's terrible, actually.
We need to change that attitude. That type of mindset. It's not developmental. It's not progressive. It won't help us. It won't take us anywhere.
And I just want to say, talking about the medians and what's the other one? Potholes.
Potholes.
And so on. The medians especially. Kudos to. The bus stop boys, who've been doing an amazing job. You know, just picking different locations, different places. They went to Kumasi, spent about 2 or 3 weeks in Kumasi. You know, they're back in Accra looking for spots. Now they're looking at fixing street lights as well, in collaboration with other people.
They're doing they're raising some funds in collaboration with other organizations to help restore lights on our streets. And I think they deserve all the commendation, all the support.
Seriously.
Both financially and, of course, physically as well. They deserve it. But, I mean, you know, the agency or organization responsible for overgrown medians, Parks and Gardens.
They're the ones responsible.
Parks and Gardens. Now, they have about, what, almost 80% of their staff going on retirement. So, who does the work?
But wait, I don't understand. Why are they not recruiting?
That's where the challenge
is. They don't have finance. They don't have finance.
Well, whatever it is.
But they're not the ones paying. It's the Ministry of Finance that will pay.
Yes.
So they should recruit.
Well, they should. Ideally, they should. But perhaps they are there and know the challenges they go through. I mean, they're old men. If I can use that description, they're old men. If they recruit young men to go do the work and the pay is not coming, they are the ones that are going to face the harassment from the young men.
The money is not coming.
You get it. So perhaps, I mean, but we need to look at how to revitalize some of these agencies, how to push in some energy and, of course, some resources to have them do what they're supposed to do and then stop chasing after their lands for other purposes.
Anyway. So I have the Ghanaian Times here. It says, food shortage looms as lack of rains affect crop production, leaves farmers distraught. Now, this is this is quite troubling because I think that even though we have rains and we see rains, and we've been seeing rains since May. We've been seeing rains, especially in Accra. We've had a lot of rains, you know, but I think the rains in the right places.
There's this thing I keep saying whenever it rains. I mean, we're in Accra. When I see the rains, I'm like, why is it raining here? At least, yes, we need some level of rainfall. But what are we growing here? Go and rain in the food-growing areas, the middle belt, the north. And if you read the story, the challenge is actually from the BA area going up north. I think GMET has spoken to it, saying that it's a dry spell, not necessarily drought, but it is the farming season. So if we're not getting rains in the food-growing areas now, then that is problematic. But you see, it tells of our lack of foresight, our lack of commitment, the lack of political will to do anything.
Is it?
We have the biggest man-made lake in this country.
How is it that
we spilled how much water to destroy property last year?
On the entire continent is the biggest man-made lake.
How come we don't have the biggest irrigation scheme in this country? To feed our farms when the rains don't come. I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe maybe I'm naive. I don't understand what goes into it.
I don't think. No, what you're saying is it is what it is. I mean, we should have figured out an irrigation scheme by now.
But we have an irrigation authority.
Rain. Please, this issue of rain-fed agriculture. I don't understand it. Let's stop. It's children who play those kind of games. Let's stop. Let's be more deliberate, because if you go to Israel, desert land, with desert-like conditions, they are a net exporter of vegetables.
Yes, here we are.
Net exporter.
We have the agrarian land.
Yes.
We have the water.
We have some of the most fertile soil.
But we are waiting for rain.
Anyway, let's talk about the vetting of the Supreme Court justices, a drama at the appointments committee sitting as legal gymnastics, in quote, delay vetting for 2 hours. NMC inaugurates 10-member board for GBC, and swindled German woman demands judgment enforcement. All right, so those are the headlines on the front page of the Ghanaian Times.
I'll take you to the Chronicle. The Chronicle this morning says, and pay attention to this. Minority ambush vetting of SC judges with Articles 128 and 144, but failed to stop the process. Keep this in mind. Minority ambush vetting of SC judges. I'll move to another story. Judiciary must set high ethical standards. This is according to a Supreme Court nominee. I'm sure it's coming from the same event. Digitalization drive will impact every sector. This is according to Ntintan Kesiehine, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Government official one, Mahama has a huge scandal hanging on his neck, on his head. This is according to Ebo Kwanzaa. Now, this is why I wanted you to take note of the initial headline. minority ambush vetting of SC judges.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you the quote of the day.
Okay.
Not the quote, the memory verse, the Bible verse of the day.
Okay, all right.
Second from the book of Acts, chapter 5, the verse 39. But if it is from God, you will not be able to stop these men. You will only find yourselves fighting against God. However you choose to interpret this, it's up to you.
Chronicle,
it's up to you. But I mean, you just love the Chronicle newspaper.
No. Very, very timely and very appropriate with their scriptural quotations. I mean, if they want to throw shade, they know how to do it.
But it was quite interesting to watch yesterday, as the papers put it, the legal gymnastics that went on. It was started by the Member of Parliament for Boko Central, Mahama Ayariga, and he sought to use the articles 128 and 144 to stop the vetting process because according to him, and this is his interpretation, that there's nowhere in the Constitution of Ghana that allows the president appoint more than 9 judges to the Supreme Court plus the Chief Justice. So that will give us 10.
Okay.
So any number above that is an illegality. Yes. Okay. Currently, well, there are 15, I presume, 15, and 2 vacancies will be created due to retirement. Okay. And that is why these nominations have come as a replacement to the vacancies on the bench. Okay. However, he believes that any number above 10 is unconstitutional and should not be allowed. So yesterday, I spoke with him on Eyewitness News yesterday evening, and I asked him that, well, this has been allowed to fester for how long?
Yeah. It's been, so, and crossed 9 a long time
ago. He
ago.
admitted the failure on the part of Parliament.
Okay.
If indeed his interpretation of the Constitution is true, the failure of Parliament to have allowed this go on all this while. And that is why he is saying that perhaps it is now time
to put a stop to it.
So I asked him further if he felt the appointments committee sitting to do the vetting was the appropriate platform to raise the issue, because he would have had an opportunity during plenary in the chamber, because obviously the president's letter recommending went to the speaker. The speaker will make the announcement on the floor of the House and then refer to the appointments committee for vetting to be done. So I asked him, and he said that, well, it is not an inappropriate platform, but it is one of the platforms, and he felt, well, it had to be done. I mean, if you watch the proceedings yesterday, there was unanimity regarding the issue raised. That's how I saw it, because no one really challenged the issue on the constitutionality of the powers of the president to appoint more. However, it was with the motion to stop the vetting. That is my understanding of what happened yesterday. And of course, the motion that was moved at the vetting by the minority MPs. It was quite interesting to watch. And I mean, I'm not a legal person, but it gives you a better appreciation of the legalities and how. I mean, it was just quite interesting to watch. And a lot to learn. And my only challenge was with the fact that it was happening during the vetting of nominees to the Supreme Court. And I was really hoping to get into the minds of the justices to, I mean, get a picture of what they make of the whole process as it was unfolded.
Well, I mean, I have my reservations about the whole the numbers and the ballooning of the numbers, you know, and all of that. But I also think that the Supreme Court needs to come clear in terms of the interpretation of what is in the Constitution, what the Constitution says. You know, the 128 and the 144. You know, they should give us their interpretation, the current interpretation of those things, whether there's a permission to expand or not.
Well, I think. No, so what Mahama Ayariga espoused is that there is the permission to expand, but that power does not lie with the president. And that it should fall back to Parliament to enact a law to permit more numbers. Because according to him as it stands, it is 9 plus CJ, making it 10. Any addition should come back to Parliament for a law to be enacted to add on. And he cited the Indian court, that is what happens. And so the Constitution, I think, allows for 7. But now India has about 33, because each time they want to make further appointments, it goes back to Parliament.
Okay.
Parliament enacts a law to accommodate the additions.
I see. Interesting times.
Yeah.
Interesting times. Well, we look forward to seeing what happens moving forward. The NDC, the Daily Guide, these are the headlines here. NDC seats under siege. This is Napo speaking. This was when he was welcomed back to Kumasi. Of course, you know the campaigning season is on, and so everybody is firing on all cylinders. Credit scoring system coming. And this is Bawumia speaking. Confusion rocks MPs over SC nominees. And that's the way the Daily Guide chooses to address the story of what happened yesterday. One dead in Forestry Commission, timber workers clash. So unfortunate things happening there. Timber workers. I think
it was in the eastern region. Yesterday. Some confusion.
Very unfortunate, you know. And then Nooks questions Mohammed's free level 100 policy, the free level 100 policy. This is a conversation that was had a lot yesterday. I'm not sure it's going to die down anytime soon. Again, like we asked the question, what happens after first year? You know,
what is the plan to fund this?
To support those youth?
I've heard somewhere that I think what I heard referenced the former president, John Mahama, saying that the budgetary allocation to the presidency will be reduced to fund this.
Okay.
But, I mean, it has to be thoroughly thought through. You understand? There has to be a deliberate strategy to implement this. If you reduce the allocation to the presidency, by how much? Do we know the number of intakes per year? How much it will cost every year? Will that reduction from the presidency's budget be able to cater for it? Or would you need to seek additional funding from elsewhere? It needs to be thoroughly thought through. And then, I mean, we support anything that will better the lot of Ghanaians. We are in support.
Absolutely.
We just don't want
haphazard
exactly, and then later it's an albatross hanging on our necks. It's draining the national coffers. I mean, it needs to be properly thought through, and of course, proper sources of funding
must be provided.
For this. All right, I'll take you to the Herald newspaper front page. Well, the Tobinco matter resurfacing, but this time, this is how the Herald decided to capture it. It says Tobinco and FD officials cook dubious 94 million Ghana cedis judgment debt. Okay. I'm sure the details are in the paper. If you want to, you grab a copy from the news.
So
you get it.
The headline is suggesting that Tobinco and the FD officials are actually in on something.
Yeah.
They're in together.
That's the suggestion. That's what you get from reading the headline.
Okay, all right.
But you would want to get to the paper to get the details thereof. Imani Africa strips out Royal Ghana Gold Refinery. You know the Vice President recently launched a Ghana Gold Refinery.
Yes.
Mahama promises Volta socio-economic change on 4-day regional tour. Ashanti Regional MPP executives gravely divided. First Vice Chairman, others boycott campaign team inauguration. And there's a story from Mama Pat. Entrepreneurial education crucial to unemployment. This is a deputy majority leader, Mama Pat. Yesterday, she sat in the seat. She chaired the appointment committee sitting. Well, she's actually a vice chair. I think it's Joe Weiss, Joseph Oseusu, who is the actual chair. Mama Pat is a vice, but in his absence, she chaired the committee sitting, and it was quite interesting. I mean, the back and forth, the suspension. It's interesting.
It's fascinating to see. You know, I think we do well in terms of the last 8 years, the last 4 years, we've seen a lot of very interesting advancements in the way we're able to do things in Parliament, move things forward, and so on and so forth. And I think it's a good thing, all in all.
And it's very educational, actually. If you get the tapes from Parliament, or even now online, they stream. So if you get some of the committee sittings that are streamed online, and you really follow the proceedings, there's so much to learn. So much to learn.
All right, let me take you to the Republic Press. And it says here, chaos rocks Supreme Court judges vetting. Okay, so that's how they choose to describe it, as minority questions president's authority. Okay. Brian Champon clarifies campaign speech. Okay, so this one also has been out in the last couple of days. And we have Bawumia is not corrupt. This is Napo speaking. And he's here pictured with Manasseh. Manasseh.
Yeah, I think Manasseh gave out some of his books. So yesterday, I think Napo received copies for himself and on behalf of Dr. Bawumia. And there was a profound statement Napo made, according to Manasseh. He says leaders have to write about, I mean, of course, their life in leadership and all that. But if you don't write, it will be written for you.
Yes, and I agree with that. Absolutely, absolutely. You know how we say about the lion versus the hunter. The story is told by the person who writes is the one whose story goes out, gets out there.
Until the hunted learns to tell their own tales, the tales of hunting will always glorify the hunter.
The hunter, exactly. You know, so yeah, I mean. So let me wrap it up here. 100 dengue fever cases recorded in 6 regions. Wow. So it's expanding. It's
expanding,
spreading.
Actually.
You know, this is coming from the Ghana Health Service.
And you know, monkeypox has also been declared an emergency in Africa.
Yes, as well, yeah. Netco loses 3.7 million Ghana cedis to illegal connection. Yeah. And Kolebu Teaching Hospital receives 30 new dialysis machines to boost services. I really do hope that the financing of the consumables, you know, the provision of consumables is also
it's a big
sorted
issue
out. So that
with our health sector. You know, the people with hemophilia need special medication for their treatment. Yeah. You know, there's a shortage at CATH, the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why. And this will bust your bubble. According to the president of the Ghana Hemophilia Society, there's a shortage because there's a rift between themselves and the FDA. This medication is being given to us for free.
Okay.
All we need to do is to be able to accept, import, and distribute. Clear from the port and distribute. However, according to the president of the Hemophilia Society in Ghana, Martin Boachi, there's a tussle between themselves and the FDA because the FDA wants these drugs to be registered. However, worldwide, registered for Ghana. However, worldwide, there's no such thing. And so the global society that is giving us the drugs for free says it is not in a position to register these drugs. Yeah. And this is what is leading to the shortage.
Oh, my goodness.
And I asked him if there's been any engagement with the health ministry regarding this. He says yes. Health ministry appears to understand their point of view as the society, but seems to be in bed with the FDA.
It doesn't make any sense. Goodness.
And it brings to mind the same thing regarding the medical supplies that were locked up at the ports.
Yes.
For how many years they were stuck at the ports?
You've received a gift. It's come to you. Clear the thing and use it. That has become a problem.
And now there's a shortage. And you know, there are children who are supposed to have surgeries. But because of this shortage of medication, they're unable to do so. He did a cost breakdown saying that one of the medications for, an injection for a hemophilia patient is about $1,200. And we've gotten it for free.
One injection?
Yes. And he's saying that if there's 500 patients, they will need about 3 shots per week. $1,200 by 3 by 500 a week.
My goodness. And we've gotten it for free?
For free. And we are fighting over registration.
Nana. Let me just say thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David. Thank you, David.
All right, you can go
it's always a pleasure.
Thank you. You can always go back to channelOnenews.com for your credible news updates.